Yeah.
weather biome, I guess. Uh,
Hmm.
there's just so so different than and I've been out in the east. I've lived in Illinois and Ohio, um, but all those places, they had, I think, what you might call kind of normal weather, winter, spring, summer, fall. Come out to the desert and you got something entirely different.
Yeah. There's
So
actually, they call it 5 seasons here because you get a couple of different sort of spring-like seasons. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
very interesting. What town are you in, Bruce?
Green Valley, which is about
Green.
half hour south of Tucson.
Okay. Oh, south of Tucson,
Yep.
with the wonderful gem and mineral shows.
Yep. Yep. Well, thanks as always, Lynn, for a wonderful hour of conversation, and look forward to picking up where we left off next week.
Very good. Love you, Bruce. See you next week.
Likewise. Have a great week, all.
Bye bye.
Bye for now.
All right. So let's get our book up and running. And good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's see. We got Mickey and Gloria and Iris and Rafi. Iris, would you like to pray us in, please?
Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, all. Yes, I'll pray us in. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Iris. All right. Good morning, everybody. So we have reached the section on chapter 2 called Cause and Effect. And I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of us uh, to reiterate and discover what the true cause and true effect is. So who would like to read paragraph 1?
I'll take it.
Thank you, Rafi.
7. Cause and effect. You may still complain about fear, but you nevertheless persist in making yourself fearful. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know it does not exist, but you do not. If I intervened between your thoughts and the results, I would be tampering with the basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. It is much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. You may feel that at this point it would take a miracle to enable you to do this, which is perfectly true. You are not used to a miracle minded thinking, but you can be trained to think that way. All miracle workers need that kind of training. This is a little confusing to me, and I don't want to get into trying to figure it out, but if there is only the infinite basic one, the allness of being, then there is no such thing as cause and effect. That has to exist in the ego mind world. So I'll have to work through that.
Well, God is cause and we are his effect. So it does work in the spiritual realm as well. But he's really talking about uh, the how we live, what our situation is. And so looking at it that way. We may think that the cause of our fear is because we don't hear the voice for God, which is, yeah, that's true. But that's not because God's not talking to us. So the actual cause is that, we're blocking our own connection. Glorian has her hand up. Please go ahead, Glorian.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. When he's talking about cause and effect, ideas leave not their source. So ultimately, if God is the cause, we are that effect. And if we choose the ego, this is what it makes. Ideas leave not their source. And he's saying here, you may still complain about fear, listening to the voice of the ego, but you nevertheless persist, continue in making yourself fearful. It's a choice. I have already indicated that you cannot ask me to release you from fear. I know it does not exist. So in other words, it's making the error real, but we do not know that. If I intervene between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with a basic law of cause and effect. So ideas leave not their source. We have to choose what the Christ, and then that's the effect. And Jesus tells us in the Course that we're extensions of that love of God, that there's nothing separate and apart from cause. So it said, I would be tampering with the basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. The power of decision is my own. There is a kingdom I must rule. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. And we're here to accept the atonement for ourselves, to recognize that the error never occurred. It is much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts carefully enough. So mindful awareness of what choice we are making, that's the idea, to get into that place of the decision maker, or taking a look at, there's another way to see the world, and guarding those thoughts so that we remain in the higher mind, aligning our mind with true perception, the Holy Spirit. You may feel that at this point it would take a miracle to enable you to do this. The miracle to shift from fear to love, from out of time, to make that correction. And he's telling us it's perfectly true. So we need to get out of the way and set aside the ego thinking, make the choice for the Holy Spirit, the higher mind, and then receive that shift from fear to love that comes from out of time. You are not used to miracle-minded thinking. So the ego always speaks first, and we're not accustomed to right-mindedness or true perception. But you can be trained to think that way. And this here is pointing to the importance of the discipline of the soul, that we practice, where miracles become habits, and we don't have to do anything all. I need to do nothing but change my mind. All miracle workers need that kind of training. So everyone here is identifying with the ego. And he's telling us that we need the discipline of the soul and the practice, and the devotion to seeing it another way. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Gloria. And Rafi, did that answer any of your question, or do you have any other thoughts about this?
Well, Gloria cleared it up. There was one little glitch, and her explanation got rid of the glitch. No, I'm in concept with it now. Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because this is something you do all the time. I I mean, your whole practice of doing the Sedona method, basically, you're actually practicing letting go of your belief in the cause of your problems as being something outside of yourself, and that you can actually you are, as he tells us here, basically you it's the power of your own thinking and your own mind, and we really have to discipline our mind, train our mind to think in a miracle-minded way. And Jesus is not going to train us, but he gave us the ability to train ourselves by giving us this process, just as he gave you the Sedona method, just as He gave us The Work by Byron Katie, just as what the teachings of Joel Goldsmith. All these things are part of the discipline that changes our thinking, so that we are in control of our mind. Karen, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you, Gloria. And that was so perfectly clear. And this is so helpful, for me, because the whole purpose of this course is to bring the effect to the cause. And it's also helps me to respect the power of decision in others. I'm going through something with a friend who, the decisions that this person is making is actually there's a lot of projection going on towards me and towards someone else, and it's a lot of fear-based stuff. And I mean, I'm not taking any of it personally, but I see it, but I still have to respect this person's power of decision, and that's why Jesus can't take away our fear, because he won't take away our power of decision. So I think this is a really, really helpful reminder, that this is our power of decision. It's the one remaining freedom we have here. And it's so, so important. And I have been really using it, and really looking at the decisions that I make and how I react to other people, especially when the person may seem to be attacking me, and I am much better at not attacking back. And, even though I'm tempted, and the ego does still speak first, I have this power that I can change my mind. So thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everyone. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. And that's exactly it. We have to accept the atonement for ourselves. Nobody else can do it for us, because there is nothing outside of me. And Jesus tells us there's one teacher of God needed to save the world. So everything that we seemingly see has to be brought back to our mind, which is projecting our unresolved guilt out there on the world, showing us what we think. That's why we're here. The goal of the course is to accept the atonement for ourselves, which is the atonement, the undoing of fear, or the at one-ment with what I truly am. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Glorian. Such clarity coming through this morning. I'm really, really loving it. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this paragraph? Do we see how Jesus is really encouraging us to come to an understanding of this cause and effect? Because, as long as we think that the cause is something outside of ourselves, we're going to think we need to defend ourselves from that, and or we need to do something to change that. And coming to recognize that all these fearful thoughts are my imagination, and they're all based on my belief that I am not connected to my Father. And so that connection to God is the reminder, the atonement. So let's move on to paragraph 2. And who would like to read paragraph 2?
Okay, I'll read, Lynn.
Great, thank you.
I just want to say another paragraph too. When you were speaking, it was coming to me about accepting the responsibility that I am doing this to myself. It's really about taking responsibility and recognizing that ideas leave not their source. And my meaningless thoughts are showing me this meaningless world, and that I can change them. And that's the empowerment. Jesus tells us in paragraph 2. I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. Otherwise, a miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight, a circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. The miracle worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. So he's saying, I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded because it'll be in the ego. And as we know, ego just perpetuates ego. And he's saying we will not be able to help him because the idea is that we align our mind with true perception. So that's what we are then projecting on the world. Miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. Miracle working is healing with truth. There's nothing outside of us to do. Once we change our mind, that's the miracle, that shift from fear to love. A full realization of the power of thought, recognizing that if I choose thought with the capital T, that's my projection instead of aligning my mind with miscreation in order to avoid miscreation, which would be perpetuation of the ego. Otherwise, a miracle will be necessary to set the mind itself straight. So if we're in ego, we need a miracle, that shift from fear to love, to occur in order to see it with true vision, with Christ's vision, true perception. A circular process that would not foster the time collapse for which the miracle was intended. So the miracle collapses time, and the healing comes from out of time. And the idea is that we have to make that space through the little willingness for that to occur. The miracle worker, one who heals with truth, must have genuine respect for true cause, which is God, and effect, being the extension of it, accepting of the one self that I am, as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. So ultimately, when we, say it, there's got to be another way, and we ask to see it differently, and we move into that quiet mind where the holy instant is revealed to us, where we're experiencing ourselves as that spirit of God, accepting the truth of what I am that is from out of time. And it collapses time for us where we perceive linear time to occur. So ultimately, there is no linear time and space. So for the miracle to occur, we have to be in that right mind, which is from out of time. Thanks.
Beautiful, Gloria, and yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I can't let you leave your mind unguarded. He's, he's not just saying that, it's not going to be helpful for us. It's not going to be helpful for him. And if I'm here to truly to be helpful and to represent him who sent me, then, I need to be in a state of mind or condition where I can actually think and not just act and react. So so the guarding of the mind from these miscreant thoughts, which he's talking about avoiding miscreation. I also wanted to, because I was noticing that as you were reading it, miracle working entails a full realization of the power of thought in order to avoid miscreation. It seems like it means that we can create more, continue to miscreate, but also he says to us somewhere that God has limited our ability to miscreate because he doesn't want us to hurt ourselves, and it might be in this section, but so to avoid miscreation is also to avoid miscreations. It's like avoiding potholes in the road. If you're driving down the road and you see a big old pothole, you're going to, correct your course in order to avoid it. That's the way I see avoiding miscreations. If I see something that appears to be a problem or not what God would have me see, like for instance, we're talking about today's lesson, I trust my brother who's one with me. And, it's all about, the miscreation of our brother. When we look at our brother and we see him as a person, as a religious person, or a public a politician, or our spouse, or a neighbor, or a person on the news, or we're looking at these persons and we're seeing them as these characters that we believe them to be. That is a miscreation, because the truth of what they are is that they are the Christ, the Holy Son of God, just as I am. I look at my body, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, that is definitely a miscreation. I'm just kidding here. But yeah, avoid those miscreations. We don't need to buy into them. Uh, so the whole idea is collapsing time by not believing what our mind is telling us is true, and seeing and looking for the reality, the true cause of what is. And once we recognize what the true cause, then the only effect we're going to be able to see is that they are the Christ. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, the thing that works for me is to constantly reminding myself to not identify with the thoughts. They are not what I am. They are thoughts. We are not thoughts. We are infinite being. We are an infinite being. We are the child of God. We are made in His image. We are not thoughts. And but as the moment that one identifies with their thoughts as them, then that's perpetual suffering, and keeps you completely out of harmony with the truth of our infinite self. Uh, and the thoughts come from an ego concept, which is all about separation, lack, and limitation, and it just perpetuate itself. So as soon as the thought comes up, I look at it and say, okay, well, that's just a thought, and it has nothing to do with what I am, and allow it to dissolve, because they come and go anyway. But if you identify it and you hang on to it, and then you try to interpret it, and then you're doing this, what you're doing is keeping that ego mind active. And that's the source of all the problems. So that's what works for me. I just thought I'd pass that along.
Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, that's excellent practice. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so very helpful. Karen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone. So I just want to go back to paragraph 1 for a minute, because something that really I think is so important for me to remember is in, let's see, sentence 6 or sentence 5 and 6. He says, I would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. This would be in direct opposition to the purpose of this course. The purpose of this course is to recognize the power of decision. That is the purpose. And that is why this very last sentence in the paragraph 2 that we're reading, the miracle worker must have genuine respect for true cause and effect as a necessary condition for the miracle to occur. Because the miracle in the world, the old idea of a miracle is that it's happening out there. The miracle happens, it's an inside job. It's changing our mind. The mind changes. It has nothing to do with circumstances, has nothing to do with people. And this is a powerful. I mean, it's really powerful. And I know we say it all the time, but it is so powerful because it is our saving grace. And then you brought up today's lesson, Lynn, and it's interesting. I was reading the lesson today, and I came across something really important to me that's so helpful that it repeats throughout this lesson, and that is the present moment, the holy instant. And I can't see my brother unless I'm in the present moment, because otherwise I'm still holding him to his past or worrying about the future. And with this person that I'm having an issue with, this person is bringing up past events and bringing them into the present. And it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's accusatory, and it's not true because the past is over. But this person keeps bringing the past in. And to trust my brother who is one with me, I have to be in the present moment. So I noticed in paragraph 2, starting with paragraph 2, he says, your vision now will shift to give support to the intent which has replaced the one you held before. So the past thought means nothing. And like Rafi said, not identifying with thoughts, because if I'm identifying with thoughts, I'm going to believe that it's the truth. I'm going to believe what the thoughts say to me. And it's always right now, and it's only right now. And then in paragraph 3, he says, we do not care about our future goals, and what we saw an instant previous has no concern for us within this interval of time wherein we practice changing our intents. We seek for innocence and nothing else. We seek for it with no concern but now. Paragraph 4, a major hazard to success has been involvement with your past and future goals. For the past is gone, the future but imagined. These concerns are but defenses against present change of focus. We lay these pointless limitations by a little while. We do not look to past beliefs. So these are beliefs. These are beliefs. These aren't real. They aren't the truth. The past, present, and future is sin, guilt, and fear according to the ego thought system. And then in paragraph 6, without regard to past or future, he says, so for a little while, he says, we magnify what we call our sins, and I always put the past. Sin is the past. So for a little while, without regard to past or future, should such blocks arise, we will transcend them with instructions to our minds to change their focus. As we say, it is not this that I would look upon. I trust my brothers who are one with me. And just two final, and in paragraph 7 and paragraph 9. 7, he tells us that the misery focuses upon sin, which is the past. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. But then paragraph 7, we look neither ahead nor backwards. We look straight into the present, and we give our trust to the experience we ask for now. Our sinlessness is but the will of God. This instant is our willing one with his. Thank you for allowing me to take the time to share that, because for me, it was kind of, I read this lesson so many times, and I never noticed how much it focused on the present. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Karen. And yeah, isn't it amazing? Because, the practice that he's asking us to do really is to do this very thing, to just sit and be with our brother, whoever it is, in this present moment without any focus on the past or even thought about the past or the future. Just be in that present moment with our brother without holding the past against him, without, even if he just slapped me in the face, to be the present, that I can be present with him in this very moment, without, ducking because I think he's going to hit me again. That is, I know that just, that's a ridiculous example, but really, I mean, that's what coming to this place of trust is all about, is not reacting to anything that the block is telling us. Whatever, he says, when you attack a brother, you proclaim that he is limited by what you have perceived in him. You do not look beyond his errors. Rather, they are magnified, becoming blocks to your awareness of the self with the capital S that lies beyond your own mistakes and past his seeming sins as well as yours. So when we look at our brother, we're saying, you are a jerk, or you are the sweetest thing I ever saw, or you are, whatever it is that we think, ugly, mean, rude, whatever thoughts we have about them, maybe the whole story. And we keep them in that cage. We put them in a cage and say, here's what you are, and you cannot break out of this or be anything different, no matter what happens, unless I decide to change my mind about you. And I might just do that later if you are nice to me, if you act in a way I expect you to, if you don't do this again, or if you do this or that and to make up for it. You know, we put up all these rules. We lock them in a cage, we put up all these rules, and we say, this is what you are. And that is what they are to us. And this is why we have to look at our brother differently. And when, you know, we were talking about the debate the other day, and I was asking people, please, you know, just take a look, just look at these beings that appear to be in front of you. You know, forget about their past, forget about their future, see them as the voice of God reaching out, that they are the Christ. The story that I have about them, based on what I think is their past and what I expect to be their future, that has got to be gone. I can't be in that present moment with my brother if I allow those things, those blocks to be there. So, you know, today's lesson, that's why it's so important, because it is telling you, first off, you have a mind that you can control. You can change your focus. You can remove your focus from your brother's sins. And when you do that, you will experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness. But it is got to be me who does that. I have to be the one who chooses that, because Jesus cannot choose it for me, and he will not choose it for me. And that's what we were just reading in the reading. Karen, please go ahead.
Wow, that was so awesome and exactly right on point. And this, I'm just going to bring it up one more time. This situation that I'm in, this person is doing exactly what you said and making these rules and holding them so dear and so tight and believing, like Rafi said, he's identifying with these thoughts and believing what he's saying is the truth. And as you just said, you know, removing the focus on my brother's sins, that is removing my focus on my brother's past. And I can never heal my mind or forgive if I'm still holding on to the past. So thank you so much. That was so perfect, Lynn.
Thank you, Karen. And that holds for then, what am I expecting this person to do? Because then I'm doing it to myself. I'm putting me in a cage. I'm blocking my ability to see them differently. So, you know, obviously, this is a lesson that is going to help you and me and all of us who are involved here, to see that the past is over, and you know, I won't hold the past against my brother, and I won't hold my perception of the future against him. And if I'm doing that, then he's going to do that to me. So if I see my brother doing it to me, I'm doing it to him too. And that's the hardest part, is because then I have to look. Yeah, I'm expecting him to be a jerk. And I'm looking for him to be a jerk. I'm looking that, you know, that when I see him, he's going to say some jerky thing to me, and I'm going to, you know, be upset about it. And I mean, honestly, I have to let go of my expectation as well, because, you know, this is where I get caught up. Okay. Anybody else have anything? Let's see what is being posted here. Not see the forest for the trees. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. This catchy phrase originated as part of the works of John Haywood, an English writer, known for his plays, poems, and collection of proverbs circa 1546. It is an idiom used of someone who is too involved in the details of a problem to look at the situation as a whole. Someone who is too involved in the details of a problem. Okay. And perception has a focus. Someone who is too involved in the details of a problem to look at the situation as a whole. And that's exactly it. Perception has a focus. When I'm focused on your faults, The thing you said last week, the thing you did to me 20 years ago, the thing I think you're going to do to me tomorrow, when I'm focusing on that, I am not, that's my entire perception is stuck and caught in that loop. So anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? All right, let's move on to paragraph 3. This is really good. I really like this section a lot. Okay, this is a longer paragraph, so I'm going to have to move it as we're reading, but who would like to read paragraph 3? All right.
I'm
Yay.
okay. Hi, everybody. I was late. I was at the Karanj Zoom session on happiness, so sorry about being late. Paragraph 3. Both miracles and fear come from thoughts. If you are not free to choose one, you will also not be free to choose the other. So the power of decision is my last remaining freedom, because it's a choice, and I must decide what it is that I want to see. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear. If only temporarily, you have been fearful of everything and everything. You're afraid of God, of me, of yourself. You've misperceived or miscreated us and believed in what you have made. It comes to me that, my wanting to be right is the perfect way for the ego to live in fear, because whatever is different, I'm afraid of, and I must defend. And of course, it's in my defenselessness my safety lies. But if I'm defending, and I'm always in a defensive posture, always kind of protecting myself in one way or another from something I'm not really sure of, because it's separate, it's different, I'm not sure. So if I'm not sure, I got to defend myself. And the moment you defend yourself, you attack yourself. Happiness is impossible. Only fear is possible. You would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The fearful must miscreate because they misperceive creation. Uh, yeah, yeah. When you miscreate, you are in pain. The cause and effect principle now becomes a real expediter, though only temporarily. Actually, cause with a capital C is a term properly belonging to God, and his effect, capital E, is his son. So if cause is love, is peace, is truth, and I am one with, I'm the effect of the cause that created the universe, there is nothing outside of me. All is one. That's the union. Truth is union. It's oneness. And that's what truth means in course terms. It's oneness, sameness, equality. Actually, cause is a term probably belonging to God, and its effect is his son. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships totally different from those you introduce into miscreation. Yeah. Miscreation is my thinking that I know what everything is for. Well, because, the ego gave meanings to everything, so of course I know what everything is for. No, lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for, because I didn't want to listen to the ego anymore. Goes on to say the fundamental conflict in this world then is between creation and miscreation. All fear is implicit in the second, and all love in the first. The conflict is therefore one between love and fear. And I think Jerry Jampolsky sold 1 million copies of his first book back in early 1980s, called Love is letting go of fear. Very thin book, but it sold 1 million copies. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dove. Yeah, so, but yeah, yeah, thank you. So let's just break this down. Both miracles and fear come from thoughts. So it's my choice. And by choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear, if only temporarily. Again, we keep having to redecide over and over and over again because we continue to miscreate. We continue to live in a world where we have made it fearful. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. You are afraid of God, of me, and of yourself. And this, I think, what I've found really interesting. You are afraid of God, of me, and of yourself. You have misperceived or miscreated us and believe in what you've made. So not only have I misperceived and miscreated myself, God and Jesus. So those are the perceptions that have to be changed. I may or may not be able to change my perception of myself because, I think I'm the home of evil, darkness, and sin. But, if I can change my perception about God, uh, that, all the things that I think about God, he's cruel, he's an idiot, he caused, all kinds of, things to happen. Jesus, I don't think a whole lot of miscreations about, but I do because again, I see him as um somehow or the other different than me, above me in some way. So, but it's something to be afraid of. And we were just reading in Absence from Felicity how Helen herself, who was receiving these words about the same time that we're reading about them now, um, she's been afraid of God and afraid of Jesus. And we were just reading in Absence from Felicity about her fearful thoughts about Jesus. That she and that she was having uh 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 mir what was it this something miracle impulse anyway, she was thinking about having sex with Jesus and felt very guilty and bad about it. um I mean, she had an idea about Jesus as a person that maybe isn't the same idea that most of us have, but for her, because she couldn't interpret love, I mean, that's how she interpreted love, I guess. Anyway, she miscreated him to be a person that she was afraid of. She miscreated God. She miscreated herself. So, and he says, you would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The fearful must miscreate. And what does he mean by miscreating? Because again, it's not that we continue to create more things. We had a tiny mad idea. It was over long ago. Everything that is here is part of that dream. It's part of the illusion. It's been here since the beginning of our time. So when he says the fearful must miscreate, does that mean we're making even more fearful thoughts, more crazy things? No, we can't. It's not possible because what we're experiencing is something that already happened. But what we're miscreating is the story about what we see and who we see. And so, when we look at the world and we see, this person is a villain and this person is a hero and this person is a martyr and this person is a nobody. And that is our miscreation. It's looking at what is here, the truth of what is here, and interpreting it as something different, something that it is not. So the fearful must miscreate because they misperceive creation. That's what he's saying here. We're misperceiving what's really here, and we're putting the mask on the face of it. We're putting the skin on the body of it, and we're giving it a story. And we're saying, he's old and she's, smart, or whatever it is. We're making up that story. But anytime we're making up a story about about our brother, about God's creation, we're making up a story that is untrue. He says, when you do that, you are in pain. All right. The cause and effect principle now becomes a real expediter, though only temporarily. So we have to come up with an answer because we're in pain. But he's saying cause is a term that belongs to God, and his effect is his son. We are God's effect. God is the cause. God is the original cause of all things, everything, and we are his effect. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships totally different from those you introduce into miscreation. The fundamental conflict in this world is then between creation and miscreation. All fear is implicit in the second, and all love in the first. The conflict is therefore one between love and fear. So let things be exactly as they are. I trust my brother who is one with me. Basically, that's saying that the only real cause is God, and anything else we're going to have be in fear. Iris, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead, honey.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Exactly. Like I was just thinking that this morning, and actually I've been seeing that recently quite a bit. That like uh like things would happen, and like things would happen, like circumstances, and then I would think like oh, this is what it's about. Like in my limited understanding, I would think like, oh, this is what it's about, and then get afraid of it. And I've made up all these stories in my mind. And then, like, later on, I realize it. I mean, I really don't know. Like, it's just really all made up in my mind. And I've been seeing that a lot recently. And I've just made it all up, and I can't trust my mind. And and it reminds me of like lesson 1, 2, 3, 4. But in lesson 4, it's saying that um, like these thoughts don't mean anything. And then like I don't think I understand that properly. Like these thoughts don't mean anything because I always think that they do mean something. Like but they don't mean anything. They're just passing. And like the same thing with lesson 1, like nothing I see here means anything, and it's referring to the thoughts of the person, like the person thoughts, the the person thought that knows everything about this world, that knows how things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. This religion is right. This one is wrong. This thing is right. This project needs to be done this way. These people should behave this way. And all this stuff is just nonsense. It's like literally a world that is made up in my own mind. And like it's not like that, and I'm not even who I think I am. And when like the thoughts go away, when the feelings are there, and then there's like something that sees the thoughts and the feelings, and there's that something that is what we are. And like I noticed that, and I think it takes a very long time to realize that our thoughts don't mean anything. And like here it says in that lesson, none of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight, making seeing impossible. You do not want either. And then later it says, this is a major exercise. And now I see why it's major. Like, I'm going to come back to this exercise again, but Really, it's like that. Like, and I had that this morning as well. I just sat down for a bit, like not even long, just for a little while, and I just observed like the thoughts going by. Then I did some releasing and I released all my feelings about everything. And then like all the thoughts went, and then like there's like something that's left. And it's not the thoughts and the feelings. And like it's pretty incredible. Like it's pretty amazing. And like it's very just very confusing. It can get so confusing because like literally like some kind of a hallucination. Like I really think I'm living here and these situations are really real and there's something to be really frightened about. And then when I just step back for a moment, and then I realize like no, like I can change my mind about this. And I'm really not Iris because I'm aware of Iris. And but then what am I? And I can change my mind about this stuff. And yeah, and I'll hand back to Lynn.
Oh, I love that, Iris. Wow. This is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. I just see how you have really come to recognize the power of your own mind. And it's just so lovely. It makes me so happy because I'm doing the same thing, and this is such a gift of this course and a gift of this community, and all of us who come together, join together to do this work. I'm just I'm so impressed and I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh. So let's see, we have about 5 more minutes. We are not having the children's edition today because Devin and Ricky are having a yard sale. So we after this, we're going to just go ahead and close it out at the bottom of the hour. And then um, I guess that's it. So we do have 5 more minutes if anyone would like to say anything, or if we want to go ahead and read the next paragraph. Karen, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank Iris for that. That was so helpful. These reminders of these early lessons are so, so helpful. And it's not only helpful for me with my own mind, but it's also for me when I recognize a brother that I feel is attacking me or, is saying something to me that is unkind or whatever. When I can't see the call for love and I'm seeing attack, I can remember, that none of this represents his real thoughts. They're not his real thoughts. He's out of his right mind. He's literally out of his mind. So I can use that for others too when I'm and I know there's no one out there, but when I'm in with these relationships here, these special relationships are our biggest classrooms in learning. And I also love what Dove said. He said, miscreation is, I think I know what everything is for. I love that. I mean, that is so perfect. I think I know what everything is for. It's like letting go of everything I think I know. I know nothing. So this was so helpful today. Thank you all so much. Love you so much.
Thank you so much, Karen. And wow, yeah, this is all of it is just so beautifully helpful. And I was always thinking that it would be wonderful because we delved into a little bit of lesson 181, and I was thinking this morning it would be great to just do a whole hour on lesson 181 and talk about it. Maybe we can do that on one of our Tuesday or Monday night groups and just talk about it in look at how we could take any lesson, we could take any lesson and do that. So I would love that very much. Let's see, we have 3 more minutes. I'm going to read this last paragraph, or paragraph 4, not the last one, but just to, I think this is really helpful to kind of cap off what we've been discussing. Paragraph 4, it has already been said that you believe you cannot control fear because you yourself made it, and your belief in it seems to render it out of your control. Is that the most hilarious, crazy thing you ever heard? I made it up and now it's got control of me. How? That seems impossible. How could it be stronger than me? I made it up. Yeah. Yet any attempt to resolve the error through attempting the mastery of fear is useless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need be mastered. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. In the interim, however, the sense of conflict is inevitable. Since you have placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist. And is that not Jesus probably laughing his butt off at us, but in a kindly way, encouraging us to laugh our butts off at ourselves for doing it? You made it up and then you said it has power over you. You made it. It's like those robots in Star Wars, or I mean, we see, or not Star Wars, Star Trek. We see all these stories about AI is going to overcome us, and we made it, for God's sake. It is not going to take us over. Nothing is. It's just so hilarious to think that. And yet that's and that's the ego tells us. You gotta be scared that's gonna happen because, you got a powerful mind. But yeah, it's saying, yes, my mind is so powerful that I can make something, God is so powerful. Can he make a rock that he can't lift up? Can he make a rock that's so heavy he can't pick it up? Yeah, God doesn't make rocks. So we're over here making these rocks thinking they're so heavy we can't move them. We're the one who made it up. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. That's all I can say. That is just so incredibly lovely. And we'll pick up again on this next week. Yay, good to see you guys. Let me put my camera on. So I'm looking disheveled. I had to put my robe on. I was cold. It was chilly in here. But anyway, good morning. Oh, Dove, you look quite dapper in your is that a Hawaiian looking shirt? That's really nice. Birds of Paradise.
It's a Tommy Bahama shirt, but the background is from uh, Miracles Cafe, which I'm going to be doing later today with Miss Wild. I'm sure you know her from Australia.
Bikini Wild.
Yeah, Bikini Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she sent me the background so I can be in Miracles Cafe having a coffee with her.
That is so cool. And what time is that?
Well, she does it at 5 o'clock my time today. That's Sunday morning her time, and it won't be shown for a couple of days at least. She has.
Oh, okay. She probably, yeah, not like me. I don't clean anything up unless, well, anyway, I'm going to stop the YouTube. Thanks you all so very much.